This sighting comes out of Chesterfield County, Missouri. The witness states that this happened to him over 50 years ago. He says that back then there was a lot of strange things going on in the area, but they wasn't allowed to talk about it, at least outside of the family anyway. That they didn't want to be seen as a bunch of crackpots to their neighbors. Now with all the old folks being gone now, he finally told his children about what he had seen in his youth, saying that with all of the strange happenings that they didn't put them together at the time. He said that if any of the adults knew what was going on, they never said anything about it to them. Now going back to the sighting, the witness didn't give too much details, so I'm going to improvise on some things in this story. The witness was out on a walk when he came across one of his neighbor's fields. As he got closer to the field, he could hear something. This noise was unfamiliar to him, as it sounded like dogs, but there was something strange about it. While moving even closer to the field, he began to get a strange feeling when he noticed what was making the sounds. It was three wolf-looking creatures. They was eating something big, he said. It seemed to have been ripped apart, with pieces being thrown around the field. He said that the blood from this animal was all over the place, that the three creatures' face was covered with the blood of this animal as well. He says he just stood there watching them as they consumed this animal, with one of the creatures putting its entire head into its body cavity. When it pulled out its head from the animal, it was soaked with blood running off its head and down its face. He was terrified of what he was watching, while the other two creatures was ripping big chunks of meat off of the dead animal, consuming it as if they were starving. With the blood and the gore that the witness was watching, he's not for sure if he made a noise that the creatures heard, or if they might had smelled him. But all of a sudden, all three of these monsters looked right up at him, with blood running out from the side of their mouths. He let out a loud scream, while the creatures gave out a long and loud growl. At this point, the witness started running for his house, saying that the three creatures stood up and started to come after him. He ran as fast as he could, but with the creatures getting closer and closer, the witness saw an old truck up ahead of him. Once he made the truck, he locked the doors and hid in the floorboard, with the creatures placing their bloody faces upon the windows while looking into the truck. He could hear them scratching while giving off low but deep growls. While watching these monsters move around the truck, not being for sure if they would break the windows and drag him out, he was so scared that they would get to him, knowing that if they did, he would be torn apart and consumed alive. After what seemed like hours, he didn't hear them anymore, so he climbed out of the floorboard into the seat of the truck, staying low so not to be seen if the creatures were still there. Slowly raising his head up over the door panel, looking and listening for the creatures. They were nowhere in sight. He was very relieved he couldn't see them, but not so much to get out of the truck at the moment. After sitting there for about another 20 minutes or so, not seeing or hearing anything else, he ran the rest of the way home. Once he got home, he said he told his folks about what happened to him, saying that they didn't believe him, that he was even called a bald-faced liar, but he wouldn't change his story about where he had been, that it led to him getting a good beating for lying. saying that later he took them to the field and to the truck that he hid in, saying that they saw all the blood and gore in the field. Then as they got to the truck, they saw prints all over the ground, with blood and scratches all over the truck as well. Well, I hope they told him that they were sorry for the butt busting he got. Now, sometime later, his uncle found some strange prints leading up to his house. He took pictures of these, and they were in a local newspaper article about a huge cat creature. But the witness said that this didn't have a thing to do with his sighting. Now, the witness knows that this happened over 50 years ago to him. He can still remember all the nightmares he had when he was younger. And with thinking back now the last couple of years, he hasn't had a good night's sleep since he started thinking about this sighting again. This report really jumped around and didn't give much detail, so I did write some of this account. I went by other accounts I've heard, so I hope you like this one, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you can keep up with all of our latest videos. And thanks for watching those endless mysteries.